Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. While voters might have election fatigue, the race for 2026 is already underway. Longtime Illinois Senator Dick Durbin's decision not to seek re-election has set off a domino effect of candidates jumping into various races, and it could change the face of Chicago and Illinois politics for years to come. Here to take it all in with us are our Paris on Politics political power panel of experts: Jim Durkin, former Illinois House Republican leader; Rick Pearson, senior political reporter at the Chicago Tribune; and Pete Giangreco, longtime Democratic campaign strategist. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. So, Rick, we start with the Senate race. The field right now is Robin Kelly, Juliana Stratton, Raja Krishnamurthy. Anyone have the edge in the early going?
It's early, okay? So if you look at it, just who was the first out of the blocks? Lieutenant Governor Stratton, backed by J.B. Pritzker, and inherent in that is J.B. Pritzker money that comes with it. Raja Krishnamurthy, though, you know, he's comes into this thing $19 million in his federal bank account. Robin Kelly, well known in the south suburbs and whatever. One of these things, and I was trying to explain this to a national reporter, is I don't think most people in Illinois, they don't know who their congressman is. They don't know who their lieutenant governor is. And I think everybody actually kind of starts out kind of on this pretty level plane, and then we'll see what happens from there.
And Jim Durkin, does that mean that money is going to be the most important factor in this?
Having run in the U.S. Senate many years ago, federal money is very difficult to get, and it's difficult to raise. And the hard money that Raja has right now, which is close to $20 million, speaks volumes. And I think that's, even though with Stratton has JB's support, he's still, she's behind the eight ball a little bit right now financially. But the thing is, this guy's an aggressive fundraiser. I've seen it, and he's going to have probably twice as much by the time the primary occurs. So I think that right now there's an advantage that he has just because of the hard money, and it's also intimidating. And I think that Robin Kelly's got about $2 million in the bank right now, but the thing is, catching up financially is going to be a very difficult thing.
Pete Giangreco, you've coached and managed a lot of these candidates. Who stands out to you?
Well, I got to tell you, I saw Lieutenant Governor Stratton give a keynote address at the Planned Parenthood Gala the other night. She knocked it out of the park. I think as a natural campaigner, she has an advantage over Raja Krishnamurthy, but we'll see if he can grow into it. He's got a good story to tell. But I think going to the money piece of it, you know, the brave new world here, independent expenditures really are going to drive this race. Juliana Stratton already has one set up. It'll be funded by the Pritzker folks one way or another.
These are these political PACs that, because of the Supreme Court ruling, they can take in unlimited money, and we really don't know where the money comes from in some of them.
Right, there's different ways to do it, whether you disclose the donors or not. What the viewers will see will be TV ads that look just like the U.S. Senate hard side. So I think you'll see Stratton try to even up the money advantage on what they call the soft side, as well as raising money on the hard side. But it wouldn't surprise me if Raja also set up an independent expenditure. And there's really no stigma. I mean, Joe Biden won the Democratic nomination in 2020 based on an independent expenditure. So that, the old days of, oh, dark money and all that, just doesn't matter anymore.
Rick Pearson, we thought for a long time that Congresswoman Lauren Underwood from Naperville was going to get in. She decided not to. Do you think it was because of pressure from Pritzker folks who want the field pretty cleared for Juliana Stratton?
You know, that was out there. I don't necessarily buy into it that much. I just think you look at, I believe she's 38 years old. It's of a risky district. Not that there really are, the way the Democrats gerrymandered the maps, but that might be a potentially risky district. And what's the upside here of giving away a seat that she can comfortably hold for a while, grow further into the Democratic leadership, because tenure is important, and you know, why create a risk at a time when Democrats are going to be scrambling in this midterm to try to regain the House?
Jim Durkin, do you expect any other candidates to jump in here?
No, I don't think so. On the Republican side, I think it's, I'm not too excited. I think, you know, Darren LaHood's name has been mentioned. I know Darren, but Darren's got a great job right now in Central Illinois, and he's also moving up in leadership. I think it was
Congressman from Peoria.
Congressman from Peoria. His name's been mentioned. But I think he's in such a good position, and I think that there's a high risk for him to be able to leave that seat to run in this midterm, which, as if it was today, it would be just a terrible, terrible night for Republicans. I don't see things getting much better either between now and also by the time the midterm.
All right. Well, on that note, we did speak with Darren LaHood a little bit earlier, and here's what he had to say about getting in the race.
open Senate seats in Illinois don't come around very often. We want to make sure we're competitive. There's a lot of Republicans that would love to see a conservative Republican win the U.S. Senate. And I think that's doable in 2026. So I'm going to continue to talk to people that I respect and also my constituents on that, and we'll give it a hard look.
LaHood going to make his decision in a month or so, but you're saying likely not going to get in. He's got too good a job down there.
If I was Darren LaHood, I'd stay put. That's
okay.
What I would say.
Well,
it's a tough stay. Look what was the last time a Republican won in Illinois statewide? It was Mark Kirk, I think.
In 2017, that's not that
Bruce
long ago.
Rauner, Mark Kirk, but the fact is the Republican Party is
Kirk left office in 2017.
Right, but you know what? Just look what's happened to the Republican Party. The right wing has taken over the primary process.
Right.
And the person who can win statewide has to have some pragmatism, some moderation. And that's a difficult thing to break through.
Well, Darren is not his father, okay? So
you're talking about Ray LaHood, the former transportation secretary.
In the Obama administration.
Right.
But also, he chaired impeachment when he was in the House. He was a longtime chief of staff to Bob Michael as the House Republican leader down there. Darren is his own man, and he is very much further to the right.
All right, I want to get back to Republicans, but Pete, you were going to say something about Underwood.
Well, her leaving the race opens up a void. There's no real true progressive in the AOC, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren lane. And so the question becomes...
Is it like a Gen X or a Gen Z or either?
She could have done that. She's not exactly a member of the squad, but I think she was viewed as more progressive, certainly younger.
I think that was part of what was egging her on to take.
I think so, and I think that's where the strength of the polling came from that you saw. So it's going to be interesting to see how both the Stratton and Krishnamurthy campaigns try to, or Robin Kelly, try to move into that lane and try to be more progressive.
All right, I want to talk about some congressional races. And Rick, you were mentioning to me before, many Illinoisans don't know who their congressperson is. Maybe I might have a hard time figuring out who mine is. But when Jan Schakowsky announced her retirement, that set off a lot of folks wanting to run in that North Side district, very progressive. But then with 2 congresspeople running for Senate, that's 2 more congressional races. What should we know about these races?
Well, you have people who have, I mean, even Krishnamurthy has been there, I think, 5 terms now, I believe.
2016, I think.
Something like that. So, I mean, the fact of the matter is people wait a long time for these seats to turn over because, in all likelihood, they are seats for life, is how it turns out to be. So with Schakowsky, that was a lengthy tenure. Let's look at the possibility of Danny Davis and him. You know, that
we haven't heard any rumblings yet about him for 2026, or are you saying maybe there are some?
Oh, there are
rumors that he wants to declare.
Well, this might finally be it.
Yeah, and well, LaShawn Ford, state representative, he's filed papers for the 7th Congressional District.
All right, I want to talk about another race. Pete, you made some waves. You said that Governor Pritzker you don't think should run for a 3rd term because 3rd terms can be perilous. How come?
Because usually you've gotten the easy things done in the first 2 terms. You've already set the record, and Governor Pritzker has a great record to run on if he wants to run for president.
And you think he'd be a viable presidential? He wouldn't have to be in office to run for president. He can be out of office and still be a viable candidate.
I think it's one of the great fallacies that, you know, you have to be a sitting member. You know, we've had presidents who, Joe Biden being the most recent example, who were former somethings. And the governor's got a great record to run on. He's certainly got, you know, all the resources that he needs. There's no reason to run for a 3rd term to improve your presidential prospects.
All right.
Now, if there's another reason to do it, we don't know what it is, and we probably won't know the governor's final decision until after Labor Day.
He said something like before they meet at the State Fair in Springfield for their Democrats' Day over the summer, he'll have an announcement. Maybe by then, Jim Durkin, if he doesn't run, what does that field look like?
Wow, that's interesting. You're going to have a guy named Rahm Emanuel who's going to probably
Heard of him?
Yes, I would imagine that he is going to move in that direction. Any one of the constitutional officers also will take a look at that, whether it's Susan Mendoza, Kwame Raoul, even Alexi Giannola. There's talk about him running for mayor, but that's wide open. Republicans, I just don't see a viable candidate coming forward from Republicans, so it's going to be the Democrat primary.
I don't think Rahm runs for governor.
You think he runs for something, president?
He's running for president. It's an all or nothing. at this stage.
2 Chicagoans, 2 Illinoisans running for president. We already had a Chicago-born president. We have a Chicago-born Pope. Are we going to get another Chicago-born president? My goodness, so much coming out of our fair city. All right, Jim Durkin, Rick Pearson, Peachy, and Greco, thanks for being here.
Chris.
A lot more to discuss. We'll do it again
Love to.
As this campaign unfolds. And finally, tonight, we want this show to be a two-way conversation. Send us your thoughts. Like what you see? Don't like what you see? Is there an issue or story you think we need to cover? Let us know. Email us at parisonpolitics@fox.com, or you can always find me on X at Paris Schutz. And you can also listen to the show now anywhere you stream podcasts. New episodes drop Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. As always, keep up with all the news you need to know at fox32chicago.com and with the Fox local app. We're back Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day, everyone. See you then.